past it. And I made this album and I put 250 copies. Well, I didn't put two, I gave some to my mates and the people who I thought might be interested, so that was about 20 copies, and I put the remaining 230 in the attic and thought, well, that's it. And I got a phone call one morning. I was still in bed and the phone rang and I thought, I picked the phone up and there was a guy saying, oh, is that Nick Sullivan? And I went, yeah. He said, oh, this is Malcolm from Funhouse Records, who back then were pretty influential. They had a list that everyone bought and rare records, new psychedelic stuff, you know, and I was like, what, Malcolm from Funhouse, what? And apparently one of my mates, Alan, had sent a copy of mine to them saying you might be interested. And so he phoned up and he said, oh, we really like your album, we've been listening to side one. And I went, oh, all right. And I'm kind of trying to wipe the sleeves out. And he said, we've listened to side one, we're not going to bother listening to side two. And I thought, being paranoid, that he thought it was shit and wouldn't want to listen to side two. So I said, oh, well, thank you so much for waking me up to tell me you think it's a pile of shit. And he went, no, what's your wholesale price? Wholesale price? Not a clue, so I thought, what sounds like a wholesale price? So I said, £2.40. And he went, right, how many have you got? And I said, well, about 200. And he said, right, I'll have them. Oh, I nearly fell out of bed, you know. What? So I drove them down to Margate, and I gave him, he gave me the money, and I was going like, what's going on? This is ridiculous. And then I pressed up a few more, and then people started asking, and it was like, what the fuck's happened? I couldn't get my head around it, and I must admit that, 50 years later, is it? 50 years? 40 years, I can't count. I've got so excited now that I've forgotten how to count. But 40 years later, I'm still in the same state that I'm not quite sure that it's real. You know, it's like, what the fuck? People still want to see this shit, you know, and they do. So, you know, I've decided now I'm not shitting myself anymore. I used to do that every gig I did, I shit my pants. Seriously, I had to go to the toilet and empty the teapot, you know, and I kind of, sorry, my wife is not impressed with that, but yeah, and I just thought, oh, no, I don't care anymore. I just thought, well, you know, what's going to happen now? I'm like in my 70s and people are still thinking it's all right, so it must be kind of okay. So, yeah, but thank you so much for making my life enjoyable.